Hey, welcome back to the on-demand series for artists. Today we're going to be discussing online storefronts, also known as e-commerce. This is for the Larimer SBDC, and thank everybody for joining us in this presentation. My name is Brandon Lee, and I'm with Edison Apps. We are a small business marketing agency. We help small businesses connect their real world information and data into the digital world. We help with website development, e-commerce store development, mobile applications, digital marketing, Google, Facebook, social media advertisements, and really just problem solve for small businesses. And today we're really going to jump into talking about online storefronts and which platform is really the best for your business. There are a multitude of e-commerce platforms out there for businesses to use. There are two distinct types of platforms. One is the hosted, which basically everything is taken care of on that platform. You don't have to have any additional fees or hosting fees or anything like that. Everything is self-contained. Or there are these self-hosted platforms. And we're really going to focus today on what the top three I would consider e-commerce platforms are in the market today. Your self-hosted would be, Woocommerce, which is where we'll start. And then we'll talk through the hosted platforms, which are more of the DIY or, what you see is what you get type editors for the hosted e-commerce platforms. E-commerce platforms really allow small businesses to sell products or services online, to book appointments, to really have an engaging, interactive website where you're able to provide products or services. They can make purchases, sign up for subscriptions, book appointments, different things with you, as opposed to your just regular website where, it's an interactive website, but the purpose there is more information sharing as opposed to closing sales on the platform. There are tons of other platforms. Again, I can't tell you how many that I know of that are very popular in the community. There's Etsy, which is usually typically made for handmade goods. Kajabi, which is a learning platform where you can do courses, video webinars, and you can sell those courses where you have actual printed documentation people download, fill out. They take quizzes. They can engage with you in sort of like office hours. Other platforms that are similar to that are like Uberloo, which is like a membership platform, again, where you can drip content to people or products or services that you're doing. Cratejoy is another one where it's a subscription-based platform. That is where you're basically creating a box of things that, a monthly subscription box that people will purchase, and then you ship out, and fulfill that on the back end. There's a bunch of other platforms that are very similar to that. Some other e-commerce and NFT platforms are like OpenCart, Ecwid, Magento, BigCommerce, all very similar to what WooCommerce, Wix, and Shopify offer. I just think that market share wise, these are the top three platforms that people use today, that you're able to really understand and know if you need support, if you need help, if you need a developer. They're readily available for these top three platforms. What we're going to be discussing today is we're going to top into what I consider the top three factors in determining the viability of the commerce platform you choose for your business. Number one is setup. Really we need to understand how difficult or easy is it to set up based on your technical skills. How can you maintenance it? Again, a lot of this is based on your technical skills. Can you actually update and maintain the site? Make sure that you have all of these security enablements put in place. All the different things that are going to maintain the e-commerce platform as you're running your business. And then finally, fulfillment. How easy is it for you to fulfill orders based on how they are delivered to you when somebody makes a purchase on your site, and then what you do on the back end of fulfilling that order, getting it shipped out to the person, actually attending the appointment or whatever it is that you're having to book with them. How can you do that? How available are you to make that happen? Do you need a third-party fulfillment service? So those are the top three things that we're going to look at as far as metrics for what platform should you consider. And then we'll take it a step further, and we're going to dive just a little bit deeper and talk about, what are some specific features each one of these three platforms provides. What is the scalability? And with that scalability comes an increase in pricing, and also, the expected cost for the growth and bandwidth of getting more people as your business scales on the site and what you can expect to pay there. And then ease of use. Is this something that as just a DIY, novice developer or, just user, can you actually use the platform to your best advantage and have successful sales and fulfillment take place on the desired platform? And then finally, sales funnels. How are you getting people to the website and able to track and utilize the lead magnets and different things that they provide for you, if they provide for you on the platform, to be able to close more sales, to be able to, really have conversions, which is ultimately the goal for your e-commerce site. With having an e-commerce site that just gives information to people isn't really an effective e-commerce site. Ultimately, we need to close sales. We need to get as much traffic as possible to this site, because the larger amount of traffic we have, the larger amount of sales that are potential for you to close on the site. So we're going to go through these categories on every one of the 3 platforms. Again, it's WooCommerce, Shopify, and Wix. And we're going to really help discover, which platform is really right for you. As you assess your needs for your business and for whatever it is that you're selling or how you're selling it, something to really consider is you want to make sure you have a really easy, frictionless buying experience for the user. The more obstacles that people have to overcome to make a purchase on your site, those are things that are going to inhibit your ability to be successful. So one of the things I always tell people that we consult with is that don't overestimate your skills. If really being technically savvy is not something that you're great at, don't think that, well, it's just a drag and drop, I could just do this. You possibly could, but you could also be hurting your business by not having a really slick and frictionless buying experience for the users that are coming to your site. And it's something that you really also don't want to necessarily spend a bunch of time building out a platform, building out your website or your e-commerce site, to then have to ultimately pay a developer to do it anyways, right? So you want to make sure that, you're able to create something that's very simple for people to come. They know exactly what it is that you're selling or promoting, and then you're able to capture their information or to make the sale right there on that e-commerce site. So we're going to dive into the top 3, and we're going to get started with WooCommerce. This is probably by far my favorite platform because I love working on the WordPress CMS. And basically, WooCommerce is a self-hosted e-commerce platform. So again, you have to have a host provider. So something like SiteGround or Bluehost or GoDaddy, somewhere where the website data can live. And then all of the platforms and plugins that you're using are all built into WordPress. So this is probably by far the largest platform that's out there. I think there's somewhere around 200 million e-commerce websites on the market today. And WooCommerce has about 70% of that market share. So everything that comes with WooCommerce, everything's built in. So all of the plugins, you can just go to the plugin downloader and you can look at all of the different things that you'll need to make your website work for you or your e-commerce store work for you. One of the things about WooCommerce is, for the most part, you can get by with a lot of the free plugins that are there. There are some paid things you need as you start to specialize in different needs. Like maybe you have a specific need for shipping where you have a pricing point because maybe your items are larger and you need to make sure that, the shipping is done and it's expensive. So you have to customize that shipping. That's a plugin that you would use. That usually as you start to customize things on almost all of the platforms, you've got to start to pay for some of those customizations. And we'll dive into, what does that look like? So when you think about WooCommerce, you have tons of themes that you can use. There are themes for everything, every type of e-commerce store that you can consider, whether you're tech, you're service related, you're artist related, your photography, whatever it happens to be, there is a plugin that would work that's already built for your specific vertical. The setup is what I would say probably on the higher end of moderate to difficult to set up, because there are a lot of little features that you need to make sure are enabled so that when somebody does check out, all of the process that happens on the back end for fulfillment is actually going to work. There are free and paid themes. So there's a lot of free plugins and themes that you can use. There is a huge community of users. So you can go into the forums or the blog or the help desks, and you can find out a lot of the things if you run into issues. You will have to do some coding, whether it's HTML or CSS related. You will have to be able to plug some of those things in, especially as you get into some of the more specialized requirements for your product or service. You can build out an entire website with this. So you have your homepage, your about, your contact, all of your e-commerce pages, which would be your shop page, your product page, collections pages, cart, checkout, all of those screens are all going to be there. You can also have landing pages there. What's really great about the Woocommerce WordPress platform is that you can create a number of different landing pages that are going to help you to analyze data as you're running advertisements when you're driving traffic to specific products or product collections. These are really helpful as you're starting to try to make smarter business decisions. And the longer your business is operating, the more data you can collect over time with having a full-fledged website with blog, landing pages, and everything. When you're looking at maintenance, as you're just maintaining the WooCommerce part, you're adding products, changing pricing, different things. That's pretty simple. But whenever you're integrating different things, if you're running sales, if you're doing promotions and different product collections, and maybe you're adding some complex product collections where there's specific colors and things that people can choose for attributes for those products, that can start to become complex. And it can start to increase the difficulty level in how you're doing it. Whenever, again, you're going into a highly customized presentation of the products or services you're offering or bookings, you're going to require some additional coding. None of the platforms will give that to you sort of on a basic level. You're going to need some customization there, which you could probably build out your WooCommerce store for the most part and then hire somebody to just do those highly specialized things. Something that you also have to consider with WooCommerce is that the plugins and WordPress are often updated on a weekly basis, sometimes daily. As new bugs are presented and discovered, or as vulnerabilities are presented or discovered, they patch those and they send out a plugin. You have to maintenance that and be on top of that usually a couple of times a week. So there's a schedule that you'll need to get into for WooCommerce where you're updating plugins to maintain security on your website, as well as patching any vulnerabilities that might be there. The fact that you are accepting payments, your payment provider provides that PCI compliance, so you don't have to worry about storing too much information on your site. But there is some customer data, and you want to really be cognizant of that and making sure that you're being mindful of taking care of that information so that you don't lose trust from your customers. So you do have to maintenance that on a weekly or daily basis. And then fulfillment, it's amazing. You have a mobile app that you can use that will give you notifications as things are bought and sold on your site. Whenever information is needing to be communicated to the buyer, you can send emails, you can send all of the communications right there from that mobile app. It's highly integrated into your website. You have tons of data that's there that's presented on the dashboard. So you know what your traffic looks like, what your daily sales look like, what your most popular products are. And when you add some third-party integrations with like Google Analytics and different things, you can really start to understand exactly how people are getting to your site, what they're doing, what products they're really interested in, and what products maybe you could even get rid of because nobody's visiting them, looking at them, or even buying them. So lots of data is available within not only the dashboard on the desktop site, but also on the mobile app. You basically could run your entire store from the mobile app once you get it set up and you get the website running live. So if we take this just a little bit further and go into some of our 4 categories here, just so you can understand, what are the high level things that we really need to know. We'll dig a little bit deeper. Features, again, it's highly integrated with WordPress. It lives on the WordPress platform. You could literally set this store up if you have all of your products on a spreadsheet. You could get this set up in a matter of days, just using one of the themed plugins, changing the branding to your colors, your logos, and then adding your products and the fulfillment pieces, connecting your credit card processing. You could really get that done in a couple of days. And then have your website, within, I would say, a 30-day period, your website could be up and running really well from just getting started on WooCommerce. You need to make sure that you have a really good hosting provider. I really like SiteGround as a hosting provider. They have really good security. They have really good performance, and their help desk is super helpful. I've had nothing but great experience with them. There's another WP Engine is another one that you can use. Or GoDaddy is another high quality performer. Again, with these, when you're paying the monthly fees, you kind of get what you pay for as far as service and reliability. One of the things that you want to try to plan for and avoid is having an influx of traffic come to your website or your e-commerce store, and then your bandwidth is not expanding, right? So all of a sudden, you've seen sites where they've broken the sites, and what happens is you've exceeded the available bandwidth on your site for your hosting plan. So the server gets inundated, and then it just serves up an error, which that's when your site goes down. So if you make sure that you buy on SiteGround, you can get an expanding bandwidth. So that way, if you do some advertisements, you have a highly popular product, that bandwidth will expand and your site will never go down based on you going viral for something. That's always the best hope. It's not something that happens to everybody, but it's a good idea to make sure you have that sort of built in, depending on what type of product or service you're offering. Scalability, again, WooCommerce is scalable. You can have as much traffic as your server can handle. And you can scale. The nice thing about WooCommerce is as you need more functionality that isn't included within the basic platform, you have to end up paying for some of those additional things. And they can range anywhere from $15 plugin monthly to $100 plugin monthly. It just depends on what the functionality you're looking for and how highly specialized that is. When you're thinking about your hosting providers, you can get solid hosting for $20 a month. That hosting can go up to if you want a highly expandable bandwidth of site, you can pay about $80 to $150 a month for that. And you can have that built into scale so that you're not paying for it if you're not using it. So again, SiteGround does all that really well, but it really works well with WordPress and WooCommerce. If you don't know how to code, if it's something that you're just not very tech savvy, you will want to look into hiring a developer to do this for you. You again can set up some of the things without having to do any coding. But as you get into some of the specialized needs or functions, you're going to want to hire a developer to do that. And then again, you can do unlimited landing pages. You're going to want to have landing pages for any type of advertisement that you're doing or product sale or anything. If it's just a holiday sale, there's a holiday almost every month that you could capitalize on in having a landing page with a specific product set or collection of products that you're sending people to, where you can track the data and year over year start to make better decisions on the products that you put on sale based on your previous year's use. And then again, third-party integrations, there's ClickFunnels, there's all of these different funnel type or you call bump sales, where as people come into your store and they buy something and you want to give them an add-on, there's plugins you can use where it adds into, hey, also you should buy this because it complements the product you're already purchasing at the checkout. So you can do a lot of that through WooCommerce, very easy to integrate. And again, by far one of the most popular e-commerce platforms that are on the market. If you're not very tech savvy, it is a good idea to hire a developer to build out your e-commerce store for you. Next, we'll talk about Shopify. This one is the second largest e-commerce platform that's out there. It has great out-of-the-box templates. You can put up a really good store. The only downfall here is that all of the Shopify stores pretty much look the same. Whenever you land on a store as a website developer, I know right away that it's a Shopify store just based on what it looks like. They all have the exact same sort of what I would call a vanilla feel to them. If you want to start to get creative and create a different look and feel, it becomes very difficult to do that for the novice user. You really have to hire a specialized Shopify developer to make any high customizations to it or to add some additional integrations because it doesn't use the language of HTML and CSS. It uses a language called Liquid that is specific to Shopify. It works really well for the platform and what it does. However, it is not easy to learn and it's really easy to break your store by making changes to the code if you're not a coder that's very familiar with the Liquid language. When you look into Shopify, again, as a DIYer, you can easily set this up. You can use a free or paid theme. They make it very easy for you to just drag and drop content into the areas that they provide. Uploading your products, images, and everything is laid out really nicely for you. It is very easy to get set up and going. There's a huge community, again, of users as well. You can ask questions in the forum. You can hire specific developers that are Shopify experts right from the forum. They're managed by Shopify employees, or Shopify experts within the marketplace. So they know what they're talking about and how to do things. So it's a really good platform if you're, interested in getting it done, not paying and hiring a developer. You could get in and set up a Shopify store really quickly. Maintenance, everything's done for you. So you really don't have to do any plugin maintenance or any security updates, anything like that, because it's a hosted platform. They do everything for you. So you don't really have to do much other than update your products, change out pricing or anything that you want to do, or sale items. All of the other back-end things, unlike Woocommerce, that's all done for you here. So you don't have to really worry about being in it every day or every week. When you look at the fulfillment, again, they've got a mobile app for Shopify. It works really well. It's got all of the highly detailed information. It's highly integrated into your store. You can interact with customers right there on Shopify on the app. You include Google Analytics again, and you've got a ton of information to use to make smart decisions about your business. I really think every one of the platforms on the fulfillment side have done a really good job of making it easy to fulfill sales from the digital perspective. When you get into the real life fulfillment of you actually shipping things out, that's going to be based on your product or service. But all of these platforms do a really good job of making it easy for you to not only get all of your products up and running, but also then fulfill them and communicate with your customers right there on the platform. As we look a little deeper into Shopify, again, it works right out of the box. You could have a store up in 24 hours, depending on the number of products you have available. It's very easy to get everything up and running, connecting your payment providers. It's really easy for just getting that vanilla out of the box template up and running. If you're going to build landing pages, it is a little more difficult in Shopify. There is coding involved with that, so you might have to hire an expert. So that doesn't work really well for you if you're looking at doing a lot of digital advertisements. From a cost perspective, you will have to again add some additional budget there. Because you do not want to just send people to your homepage. You want to send them to landing pages for specific products or collections, and making those work for you is just a little bit difficult in Shopify. Scalability, again, you can start out at $29 a month on Shopify, and that's a really good starting place. And as your business grows and your sales grow and your capabilities or requirements increase, that can grow along with you. So, Shopify Plus starts, I think it's $79 a month, and it can go all the way up to $300 a month based on your bandwidth and based on, how many people you have coming and making purchases on your store. As you start to get into customizations, it can get expensive on Shopify. As you start to add new requirements for fulfillment, for shipping specialties, for doing any type of SEO or landing page or chat bots or anything like that on the not only the fulfillment side, but also on the help side, it starts to get expensive on Shopify. Those plugins, most of the plugins start around $10 a month, and then they can go up to not only a monthly fee, but also a percentage of sales based on that plugin's performance. So it can get costly as you're doing it, but from the get-go, it's an easy way to get started. Your product pages, sales funnels are going to be difficult because landing pages aren't very easy. But one of the nice things about Shopify is you can integrate directly into Facebook. You can integrate with, financing providers like Affirm, things like that. They all integrate really easily into Shopify, and it's free, and you can just plug those in. So landing pages are difficult, but you can also do Pinterest, Facebook, shop pages right there within Shopify. As we look at Wix, our third platform, this is one that's really great. I feel like Wix is a really good starter platform if you want to DIY it, and Shopify might seem a little bit intimidating. Wix is a really good place to start. If you've got a smaller store, you got a handful of products, your fulfillment is a little bit easy. Wix is a really economical way to do this. It's again, drag and drop. The one great thing about Wix is there's actually an artificial intelligence builder. So you can give it your logo, your colors, some different things that you want font wise, and a little bit of content and headings. And it will build an entire platform for you. It'll build your website, your homepage, and then all you have to do is go in, change out some images, change out some of the text, and your website's done. This is one, again, you can get this done in literally 24 hours. You could have a store up and running right there on Wix. It's an HTML and CSS JavaScript based platform, but you are also getting the drag and drop, much like Shopify. Very easy to set up. Themes that are come with it are really well built. One of the things that we tell folks is that they've spent thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars to get themes built that are built along the lines of the latest UI or user interface or user experience ideologies. So you don't have to customize a lot of these. They've already built them for what consumers expect. So you can just use these themes right away. And they have everything built for you from a full website. They've got landing pages there. They've got blogs already built. So you basically can get in, drag and drop your imagery, your logos, your content right into it and launch the site. There's an SEO wizard here where you build the site, you publish it, and then there's an SEO wizard that will walk you through exactly where maybe your site's performing well and where you need to make some changes to make sure that Google is going to rank your site for you. Makes it very easy for folks right out of the box to just get things up and running and also get some great SEO right away. There's also a great support. There's a chat feature, and there's also some forums and FAQs that are really helpful for answering any questions you have. But what I like about Wix is that it's so easy that you don't really need a ton of support. Everything's already there and it just works. When you look at maintenance, again, this is a hosted platform, so you don't have to worry about the SSL certificates, like making sure your site's secure, updating plugins, anything like that. It is all done from you. There's very little effort required for you other than making sure your products are up to date, your pricing's there, and you have good contact info. They have tons of apps that are built into and Shopify and Wix have what's called apps, not plugins. They have a lot of options for you with the apps, which we'll discuss a little further in a minute. But again, on the fulfillment side, it's highly integrated with the third-party mobile app. There's not many third-party integrations, but their mobile app for your iPhone or Android device, you can basically run the entire store. You can add new products. The only thing you can't really do is edit your website there. But from the e-commerce perspective, you can manage the entire platform from your device, communicate with customers, much like Shopify and Woocommerce. It is very easy to use this as a platform for the novice beginner whenever you're looking at development. Third-party plugins. So when you're looking at WooCommerce, the options are really unlimited for what you can do because you can they give you an open landscape to do whatever you want. Shopify has Shopify-specific apps that you can use. Wix has Wix-specific apps you can use, and it's limited to everything that is on their store. You can't really integrate any third-party options. You basically have to play in the sandbox that they give you. So that's really the only negative there. But again, the platform is so robust from the beginning that you don't really need a lot of extra things. As you outgrow Wix, you could move to Shopify or WooCommerce pretty easily to import those sites and all of your product data. So you really have the option to grow, and this is just a really good place to get a foundation built. Again, they have great templates, large community of users. You don't need a bunch of support because it's really just built for you right out of the box. There's minimal customization needed as well. You don't need to do a lot of customization or coding or anything because everything's already built with the user in mind, and they make it so that it's very simple for you to add things in. As you're going through and looking at pricing, scalability, it has some limits. If you go viral and you get a bunch of traffic, there are some limits to what Wix can handle. But your pricing can range anywhere from the basic starter package of like $27 a month all the way up to $500 a month, depend on your needs. And when you first start, usually every like 2 months, Wix will do like a special where they'll do like a 50% off of your yearly hosting. So you can spend, half the money, get a whole year worth of hosting for your website, your e-commerce store, get it up and running and start driving revenue before you have to start paying that full price. So you can really then have that year to see, is your e-commerce store going to work? Are your products and services selling? And you can do that at a highly discounted rate. So it saves you on budget. And also, you don't really have to hire a developer here. You can really just do everything your own. If you're doing, just a basic store, you don't need a bunch of plugins. There might be some, again, specific shipping or fulfillment plugins that you might need to use, or advertising. They have a whole advertising piece where you can do email marketing right within the platform. I think that one's like $7 or $8 a month. But those plugins, as you need to add those, they range anywhere from $7 to $100 per month. And you can build unlimited landing pages. They have templates already built for you. So you can create landing pages. You can integrate it with your Facebook shop or Pinterest shop, integrate it with Instagram on that shop as well. There are some third-party plugins, but again, it's very limited to what Wix wants you to use and really what's built within the platform. So if we look at all three of these in summary and just see, what are the platforms that we would look at, this is going to give you a good idea of like where you might want to start. Again, I think Woocommerce, if you're going to hire a developer and you really want to have the most flexibility, that's going to be where you want to start there. If you want to just get started and you're a novice and you just think, I just want to get this store up and start making sales, Wix is a great place to start. But if you have a little bit of tech savviness or you're interested in hiring a developer to build a really robust e-commerce platform, you can look at Shopify. And what I would say is, as you're thinking about the needs for your e-commerce platform, start to make a list of like, what are the things that are most important to you? What are the things that are going to be important to you for your customers to get the best experience they can from your e-commerce store? And then see which one of these platforms really fulfills the majority of those needs, and then get started there. And again, if you start with Wix and build your way up, you can move to a Shopify platform. You can move to a WooCommerce platform, really from any of these, because you have the ability to export your products and then import them into the new platform. So just getting started, you have a bunch of options. You really just need to understand what it is that your needs are for your specific business. One last thing is, if you're using Square as your payment processor, you can build a Square site, which is a free platform. Because you're using Square to process payments, it's a very simple e-commerce store, but it's an online store where you can create products and then you can have shoppable links where basically each product has a unique URL that you can send people and they can make purchases. It's very easy. If you have like a very limited need to have a full-fledged e-commerce platform, you can use Square site. The plans range again from being absolutely free to up to $72 a month, depending on what needs you have and how much traffic you want. But it's a really great way if you're just trying to get started and you're maybe only selling a handful of very unique items and you don't need a full-fledged store. This is a great option to do. You want to go to squareup.com. And if you're going to use them for credit card processing anyways, it's just a great place to get started. We have a couple of businesses that use this for online ordering because they have Square POS in their retail establishments that are brick and mortar. It makes it really easy to keep all of their inventory and everything highly integrated with their online shopping experience or online ordering experience through Square. And lastly, there's a brand new burgeoning market of NFTs. So here you can create multiple different versions of your artwork where you can upload these as NFTs. You can create, unlockable content within this. There's really, this whole platform is something that expands the ability to make sales and to get recurring revenue from your artwork as you're selling it out to the public. So this is something you really need to do a lot of research on this because it is Web 3.0. There's a bunch of different things. There's a lot of, right now, I would say, nefarious characters that are operating on these platforms that, not being tech savvy might be a little bit dangerous, but it's something to be aware of because this could really revolutionize where and how artwork is sold, bought and resold in the future. So it's something to consider as you're going through thinking about your e-commerce platforms. And that's a wrap. Again, my name is Brandon Lee. I'm with Edison Apps and with the Larimer SBDC. I'm one of the consultants there. So if you need additional information, please go to larimerSBDC.org and schedule some time with some of the consultants. We have tons of different opportunities for businesses to really get the resources they need to help grow and really propel their businesses forward. Thank you again to all of our program sponsors that are here that help us to fulfill our mission in really helping small businesses. I want to thank you all again for joining, and look forward to reaching out to me or connecting with all of you if you have any questions. Thanks.